And so to conclude, we come to the end of our reading of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind today. We started this reading together in 2015, about 6 years ago. So I didn't think it would take so long, but life is so busy. So I guess if you look at the first film, I was 45 years old and now I'm 51. But what is time? It comes, it goes, that's all. See this kutsu. This kutsu was made from a yew tree that's over 1,000 years old. My Sangha gave it to me as a gift. A yew tree that was planted over 1,000 years ago. One of the branches came down in a storm a number of years ago, and my Sangha came across it and fashioned this kutsu, this Zen teacher's stick from it, from the yew tree, which in the old Irish religion was considered a sacred tree. It was the tree from which the Druids made their wands, in fact. So it's lovely to have a kutsu made out of yew with such provenance. So time, 1,000 years old, this tree, and only 6 it took to read this book together, to encounter these teachings. So today is the 1st of May, 2021. It's Baltana in the old Irish religion. Baltana is when summer begins. So give you a little look out the window there at the start. Beautiful blue sky, the Dublin mountains, the beginning of the Dublin mountains in the distance, and all the trees coming to life. Because 1,000 years is made up of just single moments, and here we are in one, as spring becomes summer, as summer, the conditions of summer appear. So, Baltana, one of the 4 most sacred days in the old Irish religion. It's a good day to finish our reading of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. I feel in finishing today, I have in some ways paid tribute to Shinru Suzuki, who, when I was a 16-year-old, inspired me so much through this book, which set me on the path of Zen. So I feel in some ways today that I'm completing a debt to this great teacher, Shinru Suzuki. He's not from my lineage, I'm from the Nishijima Roshi lineage. My teacher, who I want to offer a deep bow to, is the person who brought me along this path that Shinru Suzuki in many ways started me on. So Taigu, my dear teacher, thank you so much for all your teachings and support, and for everything over the years. To Taigu. To conclude, in the epilogue of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, Shinru Suzuki brings together a few themes that he's touched on throughout his teachings here. One is that a Zen way of life must be established, in his case, in America. He said we must establish a Zen way of life here. And I think this makes sense for us wherever we are. So here I am in Europe, in Ireland, or there you are wherever you are. And this is where you live your life. This is where your Zen is actualized. So I'm greatly indebted to the lineage which has come to me through India, China, Japan. But here in Ireland as well, we must establish our own expression of Zen. It, of course, comes directly from the Japanese school, Soto school. But here it has arrived, and this is not Japan. We must be true to the cultural conditions, to the spirit and expression of this place. So I agree with the Suzuki Roshi when he suggests, in his case, an American way of Zen must be established. So we must find our own way, and that must begin, and it must, of course, grow out of the roots, but find its own expression. In this epilogue of the book as well, Shinryu Suzuki is very much emphasizing that ordinary mind is the way. What you experience now is your awakened mind. That it is with you at all times. That it can't be seen objectively. So on our Zen path, our path is a continuous path with no beginning and no end. So I think many of us practice a lot of the time thinking there is an end to the path, that there is a destination, and this is enlightenment. But throughout this book, Shinryu Suzuki is reminding us of Dogen's teaching of practice enlightenment. And again, he's hammering that point home at the end. That there is no objective enlightenment that we see out there and then we get it. Okay? So in other words, the enlightenment is already with us. Nothing is created in our enlightened experience. Our Buddha nature is already there. So we're like, the image is like a fish in the ocean, looking for the ocean. We're already there. So this mind is cannot be seen in this objective way. It's like the eye trying to see itself. So what we do, understanding this in the Zen path, is we express our enlightenment through practice. We allow that enlightenment, that Buddha nature which is there and latent, we allow the conditions for it to blossom and emerge. Shinryu Suzuki quotes Bodhidharma in this, who says, if you want to see a fish, watch the water. And that's what we do in Zazen. If you want to see a fish, you watch the water. And whether the fish shows itself or not, it is there. Sometimes it might show itself. If it doesn't, fish, water are one. This is our understanding. So, our enlightenment isn't objective, it's not out there, it is in our very marrow, in our very skin, and it needs expression through practice. It doesn't need to be captured and attained. So, we practice Zazen to express our true nature, not to attain enlightenment, as Shinryu Suzuki says here in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And we practice every day, and we practice now according to where we are. So he suggests again in this epilogue that a way of Zen life must be established here, in his case in America, for me here in Ireland. A way of Zen life must be established here. It must be an authentic expression rather than a simulation of Zen as it was in China or Japan. This seems to be a very important point for Shinryu Suzuki, who understood that American Zen could not be always a pale reflection of Japanese Zen and in service to Japanese Zen. He understood that an authentically American Zen must emerge. And it's great to see that happening in the Soto Zen Buddhist Association, for example, and all the great teachers that have inherited Shinryu Suzuki and Katagiri Roshi and all the other pioneers in America that have inherited their legacy to create an American Zen. In Europe, we do the same wherever we are, in France, in Germany, here in Ireland, in Wales, like my brother Taikyo, or in the UK. So Shinru Suzuki is talking about the rules of Zen, the monastic code, the Shingi, which Japanese Zen inherited from Dogen inherits from China, and which we have inherited today. And in a way, he's suggesting that we need to evolve a Shingi, a code of practice according to this new expression of Zen. In America, he was talking about, or here, wherever we are. And I'd like to think that, inspired by these great teachings and remaining in this tradition as it comes out of China to Korea, Sun and Tien in Vietnam becomes Zen in Japan, and as it emerges in North America and in Europe, that it finds its own character and its own Shingi and its own ways of practice emerge. And Shinru Suzuki warns us they should not be too strict and formal, and neither should they be too lax. They must be possible to live. The way we live Zen, here and now, must be a possible way. Can't be too demanding, neither can it be too lax. It must be able to be lived in the way we live here. This, by necessity, will mean that we find new ways to express this truth. And I thank Shinru Suzuki for this teaching. In a way, he's given us the way forward, given us permission, granted us permission to proceed. And that's an important thing to get from such a great Zen master. And it's an important thing for me to get from my own master, Taigu, who has similarly said, here's your authority to teach, go forth now, go and teach Zen. And I trust you to do that authentically. So thank you, Taigu, for that. To finish and to conclude, Shinru Suzuki always brings us back to Shoshin, to beginner's mind, as he does at the end of the book, as he did at the start. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's, there are few. So, beginner's mind is open, it's fresh, it's not fossilized and full of dogma and inherited truths. It is open and seeing in this vibrant and living moment. And this is how we practice Zen. This is how we live our lives. This big mind that he talks about, our small mind, our subjective experience, we think is cut off from this big truth, but it's not. It's part of this big truth. Big mind includes small mind, if you will. The great objective, the great Dharmakaya, the great truth already includes us. Already includes us all along. That is why we don't win something, attain something in enlightenment. We just re-enter the original truth. That original truth is open, fresh, vibrant and living in this transient moment which comes and goes, instant to instant. This is our life. This is our true way of being, and this is expressed truly through the practice of Zazen, which is sitting open to the truth. Nothing more and nothing less. For this and for these teachings, we owe great gratitude to all the Zen patriarchs, all the Zen ancestors, all the Zen teachers, and to Shinru Suzuki for this. So it's a good day to finish. Shinru reminds us what it's like to be alive at the end. One thing flows into another and cannot be grasped. Before the rain stops, we hear a bird. Even under the heavy snow, we see snowdrops and some new growth. In the east, I saw rhubarb already. In Japan, in the spring, we eat cucumbers. Just life. Just life. Today is Baltana, the first day of May. The first day of summer in the old religion here. The sun is shining and the trees are verdant, blossoming, and the hedges are filling with life. It's good to be alive. Thank you for travelling this journey with me. May you always know that it is good to be alive. May you enjoy your life.